call that wasn't called, or vice versa. Give me a 48-minute report. And people that will understand that there's so many mistakes that the referees make over the course of the game that referees, ready folks, don't decide the outcome.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid.
How fragile are these guys? It's amazing. They're supposed to be the greatest athletes in the world, and yet they can't walk and chew gum at the same time without getting hurt, for goodness sakes.
That Trout injury really is a bummer, too, because people thought he was going to have a big year. And I look, I don't feel bad for the Angels. I don't like Mike Trout in Anaheim. I thought he should have left when his contract was up.
In-game live, prime time, only on SportsGrid.
Devastating loss to Georgia Tech, where they made significant coaching errors, but Miami, with all of these changes, obviously looking to churn over this roster and upgrade the talent level.
Don't sleep on Rick Pitino. Listen, at the end of the day, the portal is the portal, Mike. Don't matter where you came from, it's where you're going and how much money can you get.
Inside the transfer portal, only on SportsGrid.
And now you have to qualify, and these majors, you got to go do it, man. Like, and it just comes off really petty to sit up there and be like, I'm not.
You know what you signed up for, so I don't like the pettiness, and I 100% think Taylor Gooch should be in the major championships. Mm-hmm. So in the same note, I'm saying this, but also it's like, hey, this is the world in which we live in right now, and you don't deserve anything.
Only on SportsGrid.
Ferrall has taken over. Let's go. It's Ferrall. Coast to coast. Steaks, chicks, stacks. You and I are going to make a lot of money. It's Ferrall. Coast to coast.
It's Ferrall Coast to Coast in the biggest way possible right here on SportsGrid and SportsGrid Radio. Great to have you with us on a Tuesday. Carver High in for Scotty. Joe Lisi joins me momentarily here on the show. We got a lot to do today, of course. NBA and NHL playoffs. More action tonight. Full Major League Baseball slate today. We do have even one afternoon game going on, which we will discuss in a moment. We've got the PGA Championship this week. We've got the Preakness coming up on Saturday, the second leg of the Triple Crown. So very, very busy indeed. We got Gabe Morency in hour number one. As always, Gino Bucolo from the Daily Racing Form will get us our first Preakness spot of the week to get us ready for Mystic Dan and the crew coming up on Saturday. Davis Maddock with the Lions shirt today in hour number two. Rick Horrow on a Tuesday on Coast to Coast. How about that? And Adam Kaplan as well. So we like that. Our normal Monday guys slide over to Tuesday this week and get to hang out with me, which is always cool. Joe Lisi is with me every Tuesday and Wednesday on Coast to Coast. It's like the extended version of the very popular SportsGrid radio show Carver and Lisi, which airs weeknights at 8 p.m. East. That's with myself and the encyclopedia of college football, the one, the only, Go for the two, Joe Lisi. Hi, Joe.
Hi, Carver. This is it. Another big week for you. PGA Championship, Preakness. I got a little XFL. I'm going to have to get dirty with some of these other games. NBA, hockey. I've been dead to rights with the hockey. Unbelievable. Dallas with a big win last night.
You're all over. Hey, you got what you wanted with that Dallas game. Me and you were talking about it on the radio because you've got Dallas to win in 6 as the exacta for that series. Now you need one more, but now you're in that spot. You need Colorado to win a Game 5 in Dallas in order to give yourself a chance. So we'll see if they're going to be able to give that to you tomorrow night. We'll get to the hockey in a moment. I do have one game going on, Joe, believe it or not, in baseball this afternoon out at Citi Field. Phillies and the Mets playing a day game here. I saw Aaron Nola, Joe, was absolutely mowing down the Mets. In fact, he had a no-hitter through 5, a perfect game through 5. That's now over, though. The Mets did get a hit, it looks like. They are down 2-0. Phillies scored a couple runs in the third. They have not gotten anything since. We'll see if they can add on here, I'd like them to, especially if Alec Boehm could hit a homer for us, as we had a little early afternoon tater time that we are working on with him. We do have another afternoon game, Joe, that starts in a little over an hour, which is a doubleheader in Chicago with the Nationals and the White Sox. They got rained out last night. They're going to play 2 this afternoon. Trevor Williams and Chris Flexen, who were supposed to start last night, they will try again. Nationals a slight favorite here with the -120 and a 7.5. Williams, who was awful last year, has been outstanding this year, Joe. I do like the Nats, even as slight favorites here in game number 1.
No, I lean to the Nats as well. 7.5 is the total, down from 9. So they knocked it down a run and a half. I'd be inclined to take the over then.
Doubleheader, Joe. They're not thinking maybe this. We saw a lot of runs in a couple. What was the doubleheader last week? Oakland and Texas. We saw quite a bit runs in that. So maybe we can get up and away with the White Sox and the Rangers coming up here in a little bit. We have NBA action from last night and tonight that we have to talk about. Dallas, you talk about yakking a game, Joe. I mean, they're up 10 in the second half, and they let SGA in Oklahoma City come roaring back. Jalen Williams with a couple big buckets late. They end up taking game 4. So all the NBA series, Joe, except that Boston-Cleveland one, all 2-2 going into game 5. You got a couple game 5s tonight, Knicks and Pacers, Timberwolves and Nuggets. The OKC-Dallas series 2-2. Just Boston has that 3-1 lead. Pretty competitive in 3 out of the 4 series so far.
It is, and last night, let me just say this. I mean, when you have Luka and Kyrie, and they're non-existent for basically the first half, and you have a 10-point lead, basically, heading into the locker room, I mean, you're supposed to step it up. That was a gutless effort. I mean, they're relying on a pedestrian P.J. Washington to carry this team. I mean, explain what – is Luka going to complain, oh, I don't feel good, Kyrie as well? I mean, what are these guys doing? Now it's do or die. I was hoping that we would be up 3-1 and be in the driver's seat. Now they're plus 128 for the series. I got them to start at plus 106. Get the can out. It's going against me.
Well, the thing for me, Joe, is like you can't have what they combined for 27 points last night. Combined, Luka and Kyrie. They need to both score 27 themselves. Individually, they should be scoring 27. For them to have 18 and 9, that is not helpful. And Luka has not had that game yet in this series. And you know what game I'm looking for, Joe? 42, 15, and 12. He has not had that kind of game. Kyrie hasn't had the 30, 35-plus game yet in this series. The P.J. Washington hitting 5+ threes, that ain't going to last for much longer. So Dallas needs a little bit more from their 2 guys that got them here, Joe, and they've got really best 2 out of 3 now to do it against Oklahoma City. We'll get into tonight's games. Knicks, Pacers at the Garden, a Game 5. Denver, Minnesota, a Game 5 as well. And Joe, I'll tell you this, everyone on the Pacers now. Everybody on the Pacers. Knicks got no shot. Knicks are run down. Pacers are going to smash them tonight. This is the smattering of things that I've seen so far today leading up to me and you coming on. So I guess you know what that means, Joe. The Knicks tonight, no shot, I guess. They got no shot tonight is what it sounds like to me.
No, you're absolutely right. They have absolutely no shot. They punched themselves out in the first 2 games. I said it to you last night. I'm standing my ground. They're fast and loose, Indiana. They have their identity, Halliburton and Siakam, and they're getting rebounds. They're out working New York. And all of a sudden, Jalen Brunson and DiVincenzo all of a sudden look a little sluggish. It's one thing if they lost that game the other night by 5. They got absolutely smashed. They were down 30-plus in the third quarter. 30-plus. They punched themselves out. I'll save you the breath. I know you're overworked. No shot. They got no shot tonight. None.
See, the difference is that you actually believe that they have no shot tonight. I do not. I think they do have a shot tonight at home against the United Pacers. Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, look, both the Knicks and Ranger fans, you know how they are in the tri-state area. All gassed up. This is reminiscent of 1994, baby. We got
Oakley,
Joe. We got Mason, we got Pat Riley. Yeah, you know, they're all of a sudden nervous. They're both fan bases are nervous.
That car's lost a lot of gas the last 48 hours. Might have blew a tire as well. That car with the old Nick and the Ranger
might
fans
need to be recharged. That EV might have to go to the charging station.
Rangers lost last night, so they had a 3-0 lead in this series. Now 3-2. They're going to go back to Carolina on Thursday night, getting a little sweaty for the Rangers in their series against Carolina. You had Dallas, as I mentioned before, take a 3-1 series lead over Colorado. Joe's going to be a big Avalanche fan tomorrow night in Big D, looking to set himself up for a Dallas in 6. We have 2 more games tonight as Florida looks to shut the door on the Boston Bruins down in Sunrise. You have Game 4 between Edmonton and Vancouver. That I'll discuss a little bit with Gabe coming up here next. So we have lots of hockey, Joe. We've got a big baseball slate tonight. Can't forget about the golf as the PGA Championship. And the big story today, Joe, I don't know if you saw this, is that Rory filed for divorce from his wife. People making a huge deal about it. This didn't just happen yesterday, Joe. He's won the last. This has been probably going on for weeks. It just was made public this week, so I don't see that being something that's going to deter him from potentially winning at Valhalla this week. I really don't. Coast to Coast on a Tuesday. We get it going right after this.
Are these guys? It's amazing. They're supposed to be the greatest athletes in the world, and yet they can't walk and chew gum at the same time without getting hurt, for goodness sakes.
That Trout injury really is a bummer too, because people thought he was going to have a big year. And I don't feel bad for the Angels. I don't like Mike Trout in Anaheim. I thought he should have left when his contract was up.
In-game live, prime time, only on SportsGrid.
And now you have to qualify, and these majors, you got to go do it, man. Like, and it just comes off really petty to sit up there and be like, I'm not.
You know what you signed up for, so I don't like the pettiness, and I 100% think Taylor Gooch should be in the major championships. So in the same note, I'm saying this, but also it's like, hey, this is the world in which we live in right now, and you don't deserve anything.
Only on SportsGrid.
Anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the games start so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
5 minutes, fellas. 5 minutes.
I appreciate it, man. Oh, okay. You getting that bet in before the boom, huh?
Yeah, L.A. all the way.
What? Oh, come on, man. You know it's Boston, baby.
KG, I understand why you said it, but it's L.A.
Jay, are you serious?
You know what? It's L.A.
Why are you standing up?
Because it's L.A. You know what? You ain't scaring me. Let me tell you something. That ain't enough.
Boston, Boston, Boston.
It's L.A.
And we are back. Ferrall coast to coast here on a Tuesday. Carver High in for Scotty on SportsGrid and SportsGrid Radio. Great to have everybody with us here today. Gabe Morency is with us every day. Sports Rage late night, weeknights at 10 p.m. East, right here on the grid. Gabe, good to see you as always. We're getting down to it now here. I love this time of year. Late into these second round series, NBA 3 out of 4 series are 2-2. Going to a game 5. We've got the hockey very tight, but I think it seems like in the hockey game, and that's where I want to start with you, of course, the tightest series that's going to have the most distance to it is this Edmonton-Vancouver series. There's nastiness. Vancouver's up 2-1 going into game 4 tonight. You've got the suspension from yesterday, McDavid, the Oiler fans, the Canuck fans. It's setting up that this series is going to really have some standalone time, especially with the other 3 being, the Rangers now 3-2, but you have 3-1 in the other 2. Vancouver, Edmonton are going to get that stage that they didn't have early on in this round.
Well, that is if Vancouver doesn't just keep on winning hockey games in this series. They could take a 3-1 lead tonight, which I think they probably will. The way I've got it playing out is if Vancouver wins tonight again, gets up 3-1, loses on their home ice in the game 5, and then they go on the road and they win again in game 6. Now, they're going to win every game on the road all the time. They've been undefeated on the road. They've been unbelievable on the road, and they've been average 500 or so at home. A massive game. But this series, man, listen, the Boston-Florida series has some bad blood to it, but it's more like Florida just beating up on Boston and pushing them around. The Vancouver-Edmonton series, the best series going as far as hockey is concerned. As far as pace of play, tempo, like it's super high-paced, fast, hitting. Like it's great, absolutely great hockey. Massive game tonight. And I have to wonder, though, about like the suspension of Carson Soucy. I think there's a lot of the National Hockey League could not be more hypocritical in how they handle things. And let's just be real. I mean, Zach Hyman cross-checks Zadorov to the face seconds before the sequence with McDavid, and he needed stitches. So in True Blood, he needed stitches. How come Hyman's not getting suspended for a cross-check to the face? Oh, that's right. Because one of them is a 6'5" Russian that nobody cares about, right? And Zadorov can handle it. And the other one is Connor McJesus, who, quite frankly, is starting to annoy me, his attitude and, just the arrogance. And I got to wonder at some point, too, I keep on hearing people all the time, like, well, with Leon and with Connor, they're going to do this, Okay, when?
No.
When? I'm just going to say, when? The Vancouver Canucks, remember we heard before? Well, it didn't matter in the regular season. Okay, now we played 7 times. It's 6-1. You know what I mean? Let's keep going. And let's go again tonight. Make the Oilers minus 210 tonight. And all you did is piss off. Everyone, McDavid's going to be angry tonight. How do you think Vancouver are going to feel? They're going to go, our guy got railroaded. I'm telling you, I think it's just going to motivate Vancouver even more. That they're going to play the victim card. The league doesn't want us to win. McDavid can do whatever he wants. Let's go out there and do it again. I think it's a dangerous spot for all the pressures on the Oilers, not to mention, I don't even think they know who their freaking goalie's going to be right now.
Right. Well, it sounds like they're going to go to Picard tonight, who's never started a plaplayoff game in his life. So that's a little bit of potentially a desperation move by
Not necessarily always a bad thing. Seelov's never started a playoff game either. But the difference is, Seelov's is 23 years old.
Yeah.
Pickard's been in the league forever. So there's a little bit of a difference here, right? I mean, they're only we'll see what happens, but I would go back with Skinner personally.
And you're right about McDavid in this aspect. And me and Scotty have talked about this. We play some of his clips after some of these games. He just doesn't feel like he's got that, look, he's the most talented player in the world. We don't call him the best player in the world because he hasn't have the accomplishments that some other guys have. He's the most physically talented player in the world. But the way he talks sometimes after these losses, it's like, I don't know.
He's not very likable.
He's not very likable. You're right about that. And he doesn't seem like he I don't want to say it because I'm sure he does. It doesn't seem like he cares, like sometimes after these losses. That's what would bother me if I was an Oiler fan, is seeing that.
I think he doesn't like talking to the media. I'm not going to hold that against him. And he's not like a socially outward person. You know what I'm saying? Like some hockey players are kind of socially awkward, man. Like it just is. They live in a little bubble. He's been one of these dudes that's lived in a 1,000,000% hockey bubble. And he's also been badgered by the media a lot in his life. In Edmonton, I've talked about it, Mike, and it's one of the reasons why I think it's a negative for them. There's no other pressure like the media in Edmonton. And I was the host of the Montreal Canadiens post-game show. The Canadiens, it's different. It's bigger in Montreal. It's sort of flashier and more intense in a way, but it's not. It's like an interrogation there, bro. Like they sit in this small room after, and there's like these 20 jackasses that have been covering the Oilers for a long time that just badger them with questions over and over. And you see McDavid, bro. It's like he's talking to the cops at this point, Mike. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you don't want anything to do with it.
No.
And look, not every guy is going to have the big personality. Like you said, I mean, there's 700-plus players in the NHL.
Yeah.
You know,
like Evander Kane's funny as hell. They asked Evander Kane, what did you think about getting, what do you think about the violence? And you got to hit over the boards. What do you think about McDavid getting in the face? He goes, I don't really have anything to say about that. And then he goes, to you guys publicly, and he started laughing, and everyone starts howling. He's being real. I'm not going to tell you what I'm thinking, but I even made a joke about it. McDavid's like, what? Next question. Huh? You notice, he's not a likable dude.
We're back coast to coast after this.
Look at the Denver Nuggets and say, whoa, just a week ago, they were that minus 115 or so price. Now we're looking at them at a 7-1 price. Any chances the Nuggets can actually come back?
I think this is going 6 or 7 games, so I think that could be a little bit of a tighter spread between those two. But when you got those two guys, those two monsters, and Towns and Edwards, it's just really hard.
The early line, only on SportsGrid.
Every missed call, the entire game, whether it's a charge or a block or a deflection that was wrong or a foul that should have been called that wasn't called or vice versa. Give me a 48-minute report. And people that will understand that there's so many mistakes that the referees make over the course of the game that referees, ready folks, don't decide the outcome.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid. Your 24/7 sports wagering network. The early line.
Magical and historic season in Lincoln, Nebraska continues.
He is the best player in the NBA, but also in the biggest moments where the national media is watching.
Newswire.
Something that we have never seen happen before with one of the iconic coaches in the game.
Ferrall coast to coast.
The team covers. It's automatic. It's every time. Not sometimes. It's every time.
Game time decisions.
Luka is actually far more dangerous from three on the road this year than at home.
This game here tonight, you may want to consider taking as many points as humanly possible.
In-game live, prime time.
We got not one, but two coaches fired systems in place.
Sports Rage
this
late
sort
night.
of has letdown written all over it. It's going to be hard to match the emotion that they played with the other night.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
And we are back, Trail Coast to Coast here on a Tuesday. Carver High in for Scotty on SportsGrid and SportsGrid Radio. Gabe Morency's with us, Sports Rage Late Night, every night at 10 p.m. East here on the grid. All right, Gabe, before I get to the hoops, it sounds like for you, Canucks tonight and Panthers tonight? Panthers close it out? Is that where you're at?
I do think the Panthers are going to close this game. win the game and close the series out tonight, something that the Rangers were unable to do, but I think there's a little bit of a difference. The Bruins aren't as good as the Carolina Hurricanes are, right? The Canes have sort of found themselves and found the recipe for success. Tonight, listen, I'm not dismissing the Edmonton Oilers by any stretch of the imagination, but the fact of the matter is, I think Vancouver are going to win the series, and they're underdogs in every game. So they're smaller underdogs when they're at home, and they're massive underdogs on the road, yet the Canucks are a better road team. And trust me, I've been going to these games, all right? I would much rather have the Canucks at plus 170 on the road than I would at like minus 110 at home. At home, it's a toss-up. It just is. I've been to 2 playoff games. I've only played like 4 or 5 home playoff games, and they've only won one of them. Like the one I was at. All right, and I lost another. They're not winning at home. They're success, bro. They won all their games in they won 1 game at home, and then they won 3 on the road against Nashville. Now they split at home. They won another one here. So they've been a dominant road team. I think it keeps on. It probably goes to overtime tonight. I'm not just saying that flippantly. And we should note the Canucks have played in 7 straight 1-goal games, Mike. One way or the other. So like puck line players. And 4 threes like a common score. For bettors out there, the over 1.5 in the first period is hitting every one of the games in the series. And they happen quickly. I've been hitting it. We're going to take it. We're going to go with the Canucks in the first period plus half a goal. We'll go over 1.5 as well. And we'll roll the dice with the Canucks at plus 170, baby. Too good of a price to pass up.
Yeah, those 6.5s have hit in all 3 games as well for the game. They've gone over the 6.5.
2 4-3s and a 5-4, right?
Yep.
Top of my head,
so far. All right. 2 game 5s in the basketball tonight. Knicks Pacers first. Of course, this was Knicks 2 at home, Pacers 2 at home. Now a big game 5. Knicks minus 1.5 with a 217.5.
I think the Pacers are going to win the series, so it has to start here. The series is on the line tonight, Mike, literally and figuratively.
Yeah.
Like, you don't always say that about a best of 2 or 3 at this point in time when you're locked up at 2. But let's be real. If the Pacers let the Knicks off the hook tonight, they're going to have a hard time finding a way to win another 2 games in this series. But if the Pacers win, the Knicks are done. That gives the Pacers another 2 cracks at this thing. They have all the momentum right now. They have the health. I hate to abandon ship on this New York bandwagon as quickly, but, dude, like the float is emptying up fast between the Rangers and the Knicks suddenly. Like, what a difference a week could make with these teams. The Pacers, do they have it in them, though, Carver? Because you know the Knicks are going to be better tonight, but do they have it in them, the Pacers, to close the game out? Because they were up in both games, right? Game 1 and 2.
Yeah.
Right? They could have won those games on the road. They were the better team. They didn't close it out, though. I think tonight they close it out. So give me the Pacers. And, man, I've flip-flopped more than Mitt Romney, all right, in the Minnesota-Denver series here, Mike. So, like, at this point, I don't know my credibility. I've been one of those, Denver going to, Minnesota's going to win. No, Denver's done. They're done. They're coming back. I don't know anymore, bro. So I'll say Denver tonight on their home court.
It just feels like Denver's taking it back over, right, Gabe? Those 3 days off last week changed the series. Like, Minnesota had them reeling. If they would have played probably in every other night and they had a game 3 in Minnesota, I think they could have thrown a bit of a knockout punch. But those 3 days off allowed the Nuggets to reset. Yeah. I don't think they're going to win another game. I think Denver takes the next 2. I think Denver's going to beat them in 6 now. I think it's over, honestly.
It's kind of one of the reasons why I like the Canucks as well, just sort of bounce around from the mindset. Rick Tocchet's a great coach, bro.
Yeah.
And the Canucks and Tocchet get. It's like an MMA fighter, bro. When you ask, it's a big fight, any fighter will tell you, my next fight is the biggest fight of my career. Like, so, like, Tocchet, like, they're up 2-1, and Tocchet just is like, he goes to playoff because it's big game, coach. He goes, every playoff game is big. He goes, we play to win every game, guys. Like, you sort of gave him that, like, he goes, they're all big, and he goes, the playoffs. We try to win every game that we play in.
Gabe, we'll see you tonight. Sports Rage late night, 10 p.m. East here on the Grid. We're back coast to coast after this.
look at the Denver Nuggets and say, whoa, just a week ago, they were that minus 115 or so price. Now we're looking at them at a 7-1 price. Any chances the Nuggets can actually come back?
I think he's going 6 or 7 games, so I think that could be a little bit of a tighter spread between those two. But when you got those two guys, those two monsters, and Towns and Edwards, it's just really hard.
The early line, only on SportsGrid.
Every missed call, the entire game, whether it's a charge or a block or a deflection that was wrong or a foul that should have been called that wasn't called or vice versa. Give me a 48-minute report. And people that will understand that there's so many mistakes that the referees make over the course of the game that referees, ready folks, don't decide the outcome.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid. Your 24/7 sports wagering network. The early line.
Magical and historic season in Lincoln, Nebraska continues.
He is the best player in the NBA, but also in the biggest moments where the national media is watching.
Newswire.
Something that we have never seen happen before with one of the iconic coaches in the game.
Ferrall coast to coast.
The team covers. It's automatic. It's every time. Not sometimes. It's every time.
Game time decisions.
Luka is actually far more dangerous from three on the road this year than at home.
This game here tonight, you may want to consider taking as many points as humanly possible.
In-game live, prime time.
We got not one, but two coaches fired systems in place.
Sports Rage
This
Late
sort of
Night.
has letdown written all over it. It's going to be hard to match the emotion that they played with the other night.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
And we are back for Coast to Coast here on a Tuesday. Carver High and Joe Lisi in for Scotty on SportsGrid and SportsGrid Radio. Great to have everybody with us. BetMGM, they're doing it again. How about a first bet offer of $1,500? What are you kidding me? What do we got to do? Download the BetMGM Sportsbook app on iOS or Android or visit BetMGM.com. Sign up and deposit at least $10 into your newly created BetMGM Sportsbook account. Place your first wager and receive up to $1,500 back in bonus bets if the bet loses. If the bet does lose, your bonus bets will be available once your initial wager is settled. That is BetMGM's first bet offer of up to $1,500. All right, Joe, let's get into a few things last night from the NBA. We'll start with this Dallas-Oklahoma City series, which has now become, like the two that are going to happen tonight in the NBA, a best of three heading back to OKC. This was a tough one for the Mavericks, Joe, because they were trying to sneak away with really taking a 3-1 lead with Luka and Kyrie doing absolutely nothing in the game. 100-96 was the final. Down the stretch, Shai Gilgeous was unbelievable, but there was also a couple of really big buckets from Jalen Williams that helped extend for the Thunder on TNT.
5 to shoot, lost it for a moment. Lively there defensively. Williams picks up his dribble and slams. First foul in the last 2 minutes. Hardaway just put it in no man's land. He was looking for Doncic. Leak out for Williams, who lays it in. Thunder lead by 5.
Yeah. Absolute melt, Joe, in the fourth quarter by the Mavericks. Absolute melt. Only way I could say it.
It was. And Ian Eagle was all excited again. It was all up in arms about Shai Gilgeous and OKC.
What is it with you and Ian? You take it. Ian does a great job.
He's sitting on the SGA. Look at him. Look at him. He looks like a Cadillac going to the rim. So smooth.
He brings the energy for both sides, Joe. He brings the energy for both sides.
I don't know. It's like Luka Luka for three, and Dallas has a 98-94 lead.
He must have been on the call for like a big NFL game that you lost in the last few years or something. You must have it in for Ian at some point.
Look at SGA. He did the UTEP two-step on his way to the 10. Look at that. Oh, my God, we haven't seen that since Tim Hardaway. And he's like, I mean, relax, Ian. I mean, it's come on. I mean, give us a break. I will say, No, it's something smelt about that game because I laid the 2.5 Saturday, right, and they win by 5, and then that line opens up at 1.5. They bet it down last night. It was down when we were on air, like 1, right? So there was OKC money coming in, short money. The shorts were on the Thunder. SGA, the short movement. They pushed it down. They willed it in. Not on my watch. Dallas in 6. Dallas in 6.
From your lips to God's ears. SGA had 34 points in the game and 8 boards. 14 of 27 from the floor, Joe. He took a lot of shots. 27 shots for SGA to get him to the 30.
Just like
I always love giving you. I always love giving you the shot counts.
Luka, SGA, Donovan Mitchell, Brunson. You can throw them all in. Once the ball rotates to them, it never comes back. It's like the abyss. Just stick it down the black hole. It's incredible.
Here is Thunder head coach Mark Deneau, of course, the NBA Coach of the Year this year. Not surprised at all with the way that his Thunder came back in the second half.
No, not with this team. Not with this team. These guys they've proven time and again that they can rise to competitive challenges. And they've proven time again that, even when we don't rise to a win, they rise to it and compete together and throw their best punch even in losses. I've felt this way after losses before. And so, I'm at the point where I'm not surprised by, our team and our challenges. We're in a series right now. It's a 3-game series. We go back home.
He's giving it to you right here, Joe. And we haven't given Mark Deneau enough screen time here on Coast to Coast during the playoff run. So
not Coach of the
Year.
Year.
He is right there for you, the Coach of the Year.
Movie, Mark will be starring in it. It'll be his Siamese twin. That'll be it. I mean, I'm right. You're trying to hold it together. It's just dead.
He got a little bit of Mr. Bean in him. He got a little bit of Mr. Bean. I'm not gonna lie to you there. He got a little bit of Mr. Bean in Mark Deneau there. Now this next one. This is kind of like me and Sky do this a lot. Like sometimes we don't even care what the person is saying. We just want you to get a look at the fit. And that's what this is. Chet Holmgren after the game last night, Joe. He's talking about Shai Gilgeous, but honestly, I want to know if Joe Lisi has gone out for the big Saturday night dinner with this fit on right here. I mean, your boy wearing the shades, the pink shirt, the whole deal to the press conference.
There's some points in the game where I'm doing the same thing you guys are doing, just kind of being a fan of what he's doing, and when some of those shots go in, just kind of
it's nice.
making
he
a
looks
face.
good.
That's crazy, but he's been doing it all year. I've seen him do it since I got here, and that's just who he is. Tough shot maker, but he does a lot more out there for us than just that.
Look, what about you? Like the shades inside at the press conference? You like that, Joe?
I'm not a big fan. I told you, he looks. Chet Holmgren looks like How I Met Your Mother, the star. Remember the kid?
You got a comp for everybody here today.
I do.
You keep this going. You got a comp for everyone.
That's it. They got me off the rails last night. That's what happened. Dallas. We were so close.
You're still. I mean, like 15 hours later, you're still reeling here.
That's it.
After the
what
loss.
have you done for me lately? And if Boston lays up tonight, okay, the Bruins lay up against Bobrovsky, I'm telling you, that's it. They better pepper him all night long. I want to see that guy under heavy artillery.
Moff said, is he auditioning for Can't Buy Me Love, too? That was with, what was that? Patrick Dempsey was in Can't Buy Me Love 1, right? Who was in Can't Buy Me Love? I think it was Patrick Dempsey. Was in that, right?
I'm right with the comps. They're not off. They're not that far off.
The comps are not that far off. Here's Luka coming off just a dreadful performance, and he's had a couple in this series. 18 points. Now, he had a triple-double, so you look at the numbers. Wow, Luka had a triple-double. He had 18 points, and he was 6 for 20 from the floor and 2 for 9 from 3. He's not worried, Joe, or at least he says he's not worried about going back and knowing that they have to, at this point, win at least one more game in OKC. Here he is.
Do you have any concern level about just the way this loss went and the ability to bounce back just from the way it lost?
What's he going to say?
The fact that you guys missed those free throws.
I'm concerned.
No. I mean,
no concern. We just got to be ready.
See the face with the lip.
We got to play hard like we did tonight. I think we played really hard. Big energy today.
Hard. You gave away a
but like I said, some details, cost us the game, and we just got to be ready again. And obviously, it's going to be hard on the road, but we've done it before. We can do it again.
I'm tired of him too.
Now, one other thing that was brought up there, Joe, that I forgot to bring up with you at the top. The Mavericks were 12 for 23 from the free throw line. 52% last night. Can't have it, Joe. You just simply can't have it.
4-point game, you miss 11 shots. I mean, even if you get 6 of 11.
Well, and Luka missed the big free throw in that final minute when he went to the line to try to keep it like a 1-point game. If he makes both, he missed a free throw on there that ended up just making things a lot tougher for Dallas than they had to be.
No excuse. No excuse. Jason Kidd should know that. Jason Kidd is good as anybody.
A best of 3 now, Joe. Minus 155 for the Thunder. You want to go back in, double dip with Dallas, double the meat, plus 130 for the series?
Yeah, I might as well, because I tell you what, I still don't think OKC can match up. When Kyrie and Luka are actually on, they're very difficult to beat. Where's the volume? I need volume.
I still think the Mavericks win this series, Joe, but I lost a lot of wind in my sails last night with the way that they lost that game. I lost a little bit of wind in my sails. I still think I'll tell you this, they got to win this game 5. I don't like them 7 in OKC. They got to win a game there. It's got to be game 5 tomorrow night. Fro Coast to Coast, we're back on the grid right after this.
Look at the Denver Nuggets and say, whoa, just a week ago, they were that minus 115 or so price. Now we're looking at them at a 7-1 price. Any chances the Nuggets can actually come back?
I think this is going 6 or 7 games, so I think that could be a little bit of a tighter spread between those two. But when you got those two guys, those two monsters, and Towns and Edwards, it's just really hard.
The early line, only on SportsGrid.
Every missed call, the entire game, whether it's a charge or a block or a deflection that was wrong or a foul that should have been called that wasn't called or vice versa. Give me a 48-minute report. And people that will understand that there's so many mistakes that the referees make over the course of the game that referees, ready folks, don't decide the outcome.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid. Your 24/7 sports wagering network. The early line.
Magical and historic season in Lincoln, Nebraska continues.
He is the best player in the NBA, but also in the biggest moments where the national media is watching.
Newswire.
Something that we have never seen happen before with one of the iconic coaches in the game.
Ferrall coast to coast.
The team covers. It's automatic. It's every time. Not sometimes. It's every time.
Game time decisions.
Luka is actually far more dangerous from 3 on the road this year than at home.
This game here tonight, you may want to consider taking as many points as humanly possible.
In-game live, prime time.
We got not 1, but 2 coaches fired systems in place.
Sports Rage Late
This sort of
Night.
has letdown written all over it. It's going to be hard to match the emotion that they played with the other night.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
And we are back from coast to coast here on a Tuesday. Carver High and Joe Lisi in for Scotty on SportsGrid and SportsGrid Radio. Great to have everybody with us here today. All right, Joe, the other game last night, the Celtics take a 3-1 series lead over the Cavs, 109-102. Now, no Donovan Mitchell last night for Cleveland, Joe. They hung in the game, and of course they had that, I think it was LeVert who made that bucket in the final seconds that got you the cover there with the 8.5, which was what it was early in the day, of course, before the Mitchell news. Got up to 11 after it, 11.5. Jaylen Brown, we had a close game here, Joe, towards the end. And 5-point game, just over a minute to go. Brown with the dagger 3, just over a minute on TNT, put this one well out of reach.
Tatum trying to turn the corner. Brown from deep. He buries it. Tatum and Brown.
I think that, Joe, that was a good spot for them, and me and you have talked a lot about this. The Celtics are not really going to get put in the pressure cooker for a couple of more weeks, right? You know, the talent level is so wide between them and the Heat, them and the Cavs, especially when you don't have Donovan Mitchell out there last night. I do think they needed a game, Joe, where it was like, you know, they had to make some big shots in the final couple minutes. They had to have a little bit of heat on them late in the game, because if they don't have any of those all the way to the NBA Finals, or even whoever they play in the next round, look, I think the Knicks or the Pacers are going to make it a little bit more difficult on them than the Heat and the Cavs potentially have. They need to start playing some of these games close, and they got one last night, and they took care of business. Brown hit a big shot there with a minute left.
No, they did. But again, I think it's more of what Cleveland isn't than what Boston is right here, right now. And, you know, I disagree a little bit in the sense of, if Indiana does, in fact, close out the New York Knicks, I think they match up well against Tatum and Brown. I really do. Halliburton, Siakam, and that group, I think, can shoot, and they can run up and down the court with Boston in terms of that. Boston would have the edge in terms of more of a physical, slower, uglier half-court type of game. But I still think Indiana, if they do close out the Knicks, could match up very well and could get to the finals. So we'll see. I think it's more about what Cleveland wasn't last night, because Garland and Strus, at best, mediocre.
Look, I think it's a step up, and if your scenario did happen, I think it's a step up in terms of the fact that I think they could win 2 games against Boston. I don't think they could win the series against them, Joe.
You know,
I really don't. I don't. I don't think that they would beat the Celtics. I think the teams that can beat this. I don't think so. I don't think it would go 7. I think that 6 would be a lot if that happened. I think the teams that can beat the Celtics and are going to give the Celtics the biggest problem here are all in the Western Conference. I think that obviously Denver, I think that OKC, Minnesota, even Dallas, I think that those are the teams that I would like to see push the Celtics once we get there to that point. Here's Tatum, Joe, on the Celtics getting it done on the road, where, of course, they have been very good. Their only 2 losses in the playoffs have been at home. Everything else wins on the road.
It's nothing better than winning a playoff game on the road. It's kind of like everybody against you guys. You come here with, the guys in the locker room. It's a tough environment. The crowd was great. But as a competitor, it's just really fun to be in an environment like that and get a win on the road. Now it's fun to go back and play well in front of our fans, right, and give them something to cheer for. And, hopefully try to get a win.
And a big crowd. Had LeBron in the front row.
What does LeBron have to do with that? So what? He's an Akron guy. Come on. Come on. You beat garbage Cleveland. And without Donovan Mitchell, the ball hog. You beat a G-team league last night. And you beat it by 7. Kevin Love, Strus, Garland. Come on. Garland can't start for like 20 other clubs. He's not good, Garland. Watch, I'm going to have everybody tweet me after the show.
Jaylen Brown with 27 points for the Celtics last night. We love honesty on Coast to Coast, Joe. We always say that. Here's Jaylen Brown being very honest. He doesn't think anyone on Cleveland can guard him.
I just see me being aggressive. I don't think anybody over there could really guard me. I just get into the paint, take my time, and I feel like that's what I've been doing, not just in the playoffs, but all season long, So I just get to my spots and just do what I do.
Going too far now, Joe?
It's not like you're going up against the glove back in the day, Gary Payton, one of the and MJ. I mean, could we stop now? I mean, he doesn't think anybody could guard him. Well, then you should have put in 40 then. Why didn't you put in 40 against the garbage
You want
team?
him to put in 40 because you got that play for him to get 40 in any game in the series.
I don't think anybody could guard me. But I only scored 17. I scored 20. I mean, high school kids could do that. Yeah, show me something.
Give him the ball every time then, Joe, right? Give him the rock every time down. Let him eat. Be a pig. Like, who took the 24 shots last night? SGA. Just keep feeding him the pill. This one is a very tough hill for Cleveland to climb, Joe. They are down 3-1, heading back to Boston. Now, they're not even giving you a number on the Celtics anymore for them to win the series. But what do they got there? Plus 10,000, Joe? Plus 10,000 for the Cavs to win the next 3 games. I would say no, Joe. It's over next game tomorrow night.
Now, I have to make sure. Maybe my history serves it. I don't care if Larry Nance, and I know Nance was with the Suns. Wasn't he with the Cavs back in the day? I don't care if Larry Nance walks out there. They have no shot. You know that. As much as I want to take that, too. I want to take the Cavs. I really do. I do want to take the Cavs.
You don't want to do that.
Wow.
You don't want to take the Cavs.
Who was the three-point specialist back in the day for them? I can't think of his name.
For the Cavs? Oh, Mark Price, Craig Elo?
Mark Price.
Elo,
Price?
Elo! Mark Price. All right, Joe. We'll get to tonight's games at the top of the hour. We have 2 Game 5s. Knicks and the Pacers at the Garden. We have the Timberwolves and the Nuggets, a Game 5 in Denver. We'll give you all those numbers from coast to coast on SportsGrid Radio. We're back right after this.
Look at the Denver Nuggets and say, whoa, just a week ago, they were that minus 115 or so price. Now we're looking at them at a 7-1 price. Any chances the Nuggets can actually come back?
I think this is going 6 or 7 games, so I think that could be a little bit of a tighter spread between those two. But when you got those 2 guys, those 2 monsters, and Towns and Edwards, it's just really hard.
The early line, only on SportsGrid.
Every missed call, the entire game, whether it's a charge or a block or a deflection that was wrong or a foul that should have been called that wasn't called or vice versa. Give me a 48-minute report. And people that will understand that there's so many mistakes that the referees make over the course of the game that referees, ready folks, don't decide the outcome.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid, your 24/7 sports wagering network. The early line.
Magical and historic season in Lincoln, Nebraska continues.
He is the best player in the NBA, but also in the biggest moments where the national media is watching.
Newswire.
Something that we have never seen happen before with one of the iconic coaches in the game.
Ferrall coast to coast.
The team covers. It's automatic. It's every time. Not sometimes. It's every time.
Game time decisions.
Luka is actually far more dangerous from 3 on the road this year than at home.
This game here tonight, you may want to consider taking as many points as humanly possible.
In-game live, prime time.
We got not 1, but 2 coaches fired systems in place.
Sports Rage
This
late
sort
night.
of has letdown written all over it. It's going to be hard to match the emotion that they played with the other night.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
And we are back from coast to coast here on a Tuesday. Carver High in for Scotty on SportsGrid and SportsGrid Radio. Great to have everybody with us here today. Of course, the second leg of the Triple Crown is this Saturday. We head to Pimlico for the 149th running of the Preakness Stakes. And Gino Picola is with us from the Daily Racing Form. Daily Racing Form going to be with us all week long. Gino will be back with Scotty later in the week as we get ready for leg 2 of the Triple Crown. Gino, good to see you. Thanks for a few minutes here today. Let me start with this. Obviously, we have Mystic Dan coming back after winning to the Derby. And let me just say this. Thank God, because I was getting sick. I hate Gino when and look, I really shouldn't get on their case. They own the horse. They're going to make millions off the horse. The owners and trainers that pull the horse after they win the Derby bother out of me. So I'm glad that we're going to get Mystic Dan going for the Triple Crown back out here at Pimlico. Everybody loves to see that, Gino.
Actually, I was going to tag in a little bit early, Mike, because I wanted to talk some Celtics and Cavs with you, but I'm a Laker fan, so I wouldn't have too many nice things to say about the Celtics. But we could talk about the Preakness coming up. And you're right, it is great when we get the Derby winner back because that's the tradition. We always want to see the horses have an opportunity to get a Triple Crown. And that's what will be the case here with Mystic Dan trying to win the second jewel of racing's Triple Crown coming up this weekend. But Mystic Dan, actually, when the race was drawn and when the odds were set, Mike, he is not your favorite. And that is something that doesn't happen all that often. Generally, the horse that wins the Kentucky Derby will come into the Preakness as the betting favorite there. But if you look at the morning line odds, Mystic Dan is actually 5-2 on the morning line. So he's been installed as the second choice. Muth, the number 4, is 8-5 on the morning line. So that makes him the morning line favorite, one of 2 horses for trainer Bob Baffert.
And I think a lot of that, Gino, and you tell me, is probably because, and this is me guessing, Mystic Dan obviously was not a favorite at the Kentucky Derby. This was a horse in more the middle to back of the odds the morning of the race. So I'm guessing, Gino, people don't think that they're going to do it again. They're not going to get it done again this week.
And before the Kentucky Derby, the race that Mystic Dan was in was the Arkansas Derby. He ran third in that race. You know who won that race? Muth. Muth beat Mystic Dan the race right before the Kentucky Derby. Muth was not eligible to run in the Kentucky Derby. Trainer Bob Baffert still has a ban that he is serving from Churchill Downs over the last few years, dating back to 2021. So the Bob Baffert runners are not eligible to be entered in the Kentucky Derby. So Bob Baffert will come to the Preakness with 2 horses, and he will try to win his 9th Preakness. He has the record so far. He is an 8-time winner. He has 2 chances in here with Muth and with the number 9, Imagination. They will both try to give him a record-breaking and adding to his own record 9th Preakness win.
Yeah, DeTore's on the 9-horse Imagination, as you just mentioned. That's a Baffert horse. Listen, you say Baffert in the Preakness to me, those are horses that I'm going to have involved, whether it's in my exactas, my trifectas, etc. We're going to try to work those horses in for that spot. So we cut the field in half. We had 20 horses at the Derby. We're only going to have 9 here at the Preakness this week. Tell me who else is still in this field besides Mystic Dan that was in the Derby. Who do we have?
Only have 3 overall. Only 3 of the horses. We have Mystic Dan, who was the winner. We have the 4th place finisher, Catching Freedom, who actually ran really well in here. He's going to be the number 3. He's a total player in this race, a major top contender. He was the Louisiana Derby winner. He ran really well to finish 4th in the Kentucky Derby. And then you'll have the number 7, Just Steel. He's one of 2 horses in here for trainer D. Wayne Lucas. We were talking about how when you think of Bob Baffert, you think of Preakness. Before Bob Baffert, you used to think of D. Wayne Lucas when you thought of Preakness. He's won 6 of them himself. And he has 2 horses in here, both the 6 and the 7, trying to give him a 7th Preakness victory. So 2 of the real heavy hitters when it comes to Triple Crown races and all-time greatest trainers in horse racing history. They're going to be in here with D. Wayne Lucas and with Bob Baffert.
And Rosario on Just Steel, who I do remember from the Derby as well. And you'll probably see, Gino, usually horses that were in the Derby that aren't in this week, they get the extra rest, and then they try to come back at the Belmont and try to win that. So I'm sure we're going to see some of those faces and horses that we saw a couple weeks ago, again, 3 weeks from now.
Exactly. Sierra Leone, who was the runner-up, they've already mentioned that's going to be the game plan, and you will see a slew of horses, possibly Fierceness and others, will all be coming back in just a few weeks. So really excited to talk with you again this week. Remember, anytime you need any help handicapping the races, you want to head to drf.com, shop.drf.com. We're going to have you all set up with past performances and betting strategies, everything to get you ready for the Preakness.
Gino Bacola with us, daily racing form. They got it set up all week long here on the grid. We're back coast to coast right after this.
Every missed call, the entire game, whether it's a charge or a block or a deflection that was wrong or a